There are over 1 billion cows alive on this planet right now, raised for one single purpose. Billions of chickens, sheep, pigs, and goats form the backbone of global food production, converting plants into protein. Throughout history, humans have eaten almost every herbivore on Earth. But step inside any modern home, and you'll find a small, silent predator curled up on the sofa, the domestic cat. Try to remember the last time you saw cat meat on a menu, or cat stew served as a delicacy. Outside of extreme historic crises, humans have built a rigid, near-universal barrier around felines. We don't eat them, not at scale, not as a habit. Across nearly every culture, humans converged on the exact same unspoken rule: eat the plant eaters, leave the mouse catchers alone. If you stop and think about it, that's strange. A pig and a cat are both just meat, made of muscle, fat, and protein. So why does one show up on nearly every dinner table and the other basically never does? The answer is a mix of biology, chemistry, and culture. Let's start with the math, because the math alone settles this argument. In 1942, an ecologist named Raymond Lindemann worked out the 10% rule. At every step up a food chain, roughly 90% of the energy gets lost, burned off as body heat, spent on movement, or wasted during digestion. Only about 10% survives the climb. If a field of grass produces 100 pounds of energy, that supports 10 pounds of deer, which supports just 1 pound of wolf. Now apply this to the domestic cat. Cats are obligate carnivores. Unlike omnivorous dogs or humans, a cat's body is biologically locked in to eating meat. They cannot synthesize essential nutrients, like taurine, from plants. To raise a cat, you must feed it other animals. To produce a single pound of cat meat, you must first feed it 10 pounds of prey, like chicken, which required 100 pounds of plants. Farming cats means farming animals whose entire diet is other farmed animals. The math never worked. No civilization had that kind of surplus energy to waste on a highly inefficient food source. But cost isn't even the biggest problem. There's something quietly building up inside cat tissue: biomagnification. Toxins in the environment, like heavy metals, industrial chemicals, and pesticides, don't disappear as they move up a food chain. They concentrate. A stray cat survives by hunting pests like mice and rats. A city rat eats garbage and commercial rat poison. While the rat might survive a low dose, the toxins remain in its tissues. A single cat consumes hundreds of these rodents, absorbing and storing all of that poison. By maturity, its tissue is a chemical sponge, creating a major public health hazard. You aren't just eating meat, you are eating a concentrated cocktail of every toxin local pests picked up from the streets. Then there is disease. Predators eat the weak and the sick, ingesting their pathogens. But cats carry a unique hazard: Toxoplasma gondii. This parasite can infect almost any animal, but it can only reproduce sexually inside the intestines of felines. They shed millions of infectious eggs in their feces. If humans consume undercooked cat meat, they risk contracting toxoplasmosis, which can lay dormant in the brain or cause devastating birth defects and miscarriages. Cats also carry rabies and aggressive roundworms. While we've spent millennia domesticating livestock to minimize disease, the feline predatory lifestyle makes their meat a highly volatile biological risk. But what does cat meat taste like? Historical accounts and food science agree. It is terrible. Herbivores like cows graze calmly, preserving glycogen, which converts to lactic acid, making the meat tender and savory. Cats are the exact opposite. As sprint-based predators, their muscles are dominated by fast-twitch fibers designed for explosive energy, resulting in meat that is incredibly lean, stringy, and tough. Furthermore, a cat's high-protein metabolism produces high levels of urea and ammonia.
This nitrogen-heavy chemistry, combined with constant predator adrenaline, infuses their tissue with a sharp, highly acidic and musky flavor. Those who have eaten it describe it as greasy, tough, and carrying an unpleasant aroma reminiscent of urine. Long before we understood the 10% rule, we made an unspoken pact with felines. 10,000 years ago, at the dawn of agriculture, humans began storing grain, attracting plagues of rodents. Enter the wildcat. Unlike dogs, cats domesticated themselves, walking into settlements to hunt the pests. Humans realized a live cat was a biological shield against famine. Over millennia, this utility evolved into a deep partnership. In psychology, we divide animals into food, pests, and companions. Once an animal enters the companion box, the psychological barrier to eating them becomes insurmountable. To eat a cat feels like a betrayal of an ancient contract. Over time, this barrier became codified in law and religion. Levitical dietary law prohibits fanged predators, and Islamic law forbids any beast that hunts with fangs or claws. From East Asia to Egypt, cats were symbols of luck and divinity. In modern times, this taboo is legally absolute. In 2018, the U.S. banned the slaughter and sale of dogs and cats for food. History has dark exceptions. During famines or the siege of Paris, starving populations turned to cats, calling them roof rabbits. But these moments are remembered as times of ultimate desperation. Eating cats only on the brink of starvation is the ultimate proof that the taboo exists. It's the exception that proves the rule. Why can't we eat cat meat? The answer is written in thermodynamics, which makes farming a carnivore an ecological disaster. It's written in biomagnification, which turns their flesh into a sponge for poisons. It's written in the biology of Toxoplasma gondii, a parasite that claims the feline gut as its exclusive home. And it's written in the tough, musky, ammonia-scented muscle of a sprint predator. Most importantly, it is written in our history. We didn't domesticate cats to feed us. We invited them to protect us. We traded the meat on their bones for the safety of our grain, forging a bond that transformed them from prey into partners. The cat was never meant for the menu. The math, the science, and our own hearts decided that a long time ago.